Hello, anyone watching? Hello, Reverend Clown. I don't believe we are acquainted. I am just doing the thing I probably should do before I start these, which is rule out some, break the page down to some quadrant. Because drawing onto a blank page can be intimidating, but also you don't necessarily know where you're starting sometimes. So I like to break things down so at least I know if I'm going to have a composition be more here, or here, or here, or here, or in the middle. Just gives me a place to start from. Hey Nick, how's it going, man? Hey Wadley. Brick you. So many delightful names. I was saying before, I said last stream might be my last, but this one's going to be my last for a while. I've been doing this every Monday for like the last 3 months. But I think I need to kind of get my head down and get a full work week in on the book I'm working on. So I mean, this is actually a commission that was meant for C2E2, but I couldn't get to it in time before I left. So yeah, I thought I would live stream this. I'll get back to it again after a few months because I have been enjoying them, but I need to do my actual job. Oh, hi Cassie. Green Viv. Green Civi. I'm not. No, I give up. But thank you for the compliment. Hey David, how's it going? Ah, Simone. Simone says I'm supposed to be working on classwork right now, but I got a notification that said Declan, Shalvey, and Moon Knight, so I couldn't resist. If only that worked on all the ladies. Cheers, Simone. And Nick, how was C2E2? Good. Yes, it was very good. I'm going to draw and talk and not look at the screen for a few minutes. Yeah, it was great. I kind of it was a little scary. The week before, there was a lot of international artists that got that weren't let into the country for Emerald City Comic Con. So I was kind of a bit worried, to put it mildly. But once I got there, it was great. It was really, really great. I made a point of not taking any. Well, I had pre-commissions, as anybody who's been watching the stream would know. But I didn't do any. I didn't do any drawing at the show, other than if people had hardcovers for injection. I just did sketches in those. But otherwise I took the morning off. I signed from like 12 to 2, took a lunch break. I'd meet like, a friend or an editor or something for lunch and come back and do the rest of the day. And it was great. It was way less stressful. No, I'm not liking this actually. Not It was way less stressful than other shows have been. My art dealer was there, so he, like, I think he sold a couple of pages and prints and stuff, and I just signed whatever was there, really. It was definitely a better way to do a show, and I think I'll do it like that in future. Because I don't really like drawing at shows anymore anyway. I was actually, the frustrating thing about the show is there's lots of people who I would like to have seen that I didn't get a chance to see, and then only realised when I got back to Ireland and saw on the internet that they'd been at Chicago. What are you going to do, huh? Let's see. Cassie is watching in the office between tweets. And Brick Q. Signed you a copy of Savage Town. I should have bought you a beer. Yeah, you should have. Yeah, that'd have been nice. But no, of course not. Thank you for buying the copy. I owe you a beer? Nick, I'm into these leisure lunch breaks for cons. You really need a break working the table. Yeah, that's quite true. And if anything, it makes me way better at the table because it's easier to chat and talk and sign and whatnot. Because normally I just get so kind of like, if I'm behind the table, I'm like, oh, I better stay here in case somebody comes by. But the problem is, like, you're always going to miss somebody, no matter what. Like, the amount of times I've done like full days, like 100% days at the table, but maybe went to the toilet twice. Somebody, I genuinely hear, oh, you're never at your table. I'm like, fuck you, man. I've been at my table all day. But so there's really nothing I can do about that. So I'm just gonna. Although C2 is an easy one to do it at because there was like a place you could go for lunch nearby. It's going to be harder at like a place like New York Comic Con because the show just envelops that whole area, you know. So this idea of getting stressed out drawing at a table sucks. Yeah, I do it to myself. To be fair, I feel bad or I don't want to miss people, especially if I'm trying to sell a book. Like when I had Savage Town a couple of years ago, you're trying to get in anyone's hand that you can, and if you're not at the table, you cannot do that. But yeah, there's only so much you can do, really. Can you see them? Yeah, it's pretty light. It's okay, I'm gonna start fleshing this out soon. And Brick Q, I had lunch with or a post-con drink with Robbie Thompson, and somebody like bought me a whiskey, which was very nice of them. It's the closest thing I've had to being a hot girl getting bought a drink at the bar from a gentleman at the other table. Thank you, sir. You like Moon Knight, I believe. Nick, yeah, where the NYCC Comic Con is like a no man's land. Yeah, you need to walk a few blocks away in order to get away from it. But I know there's a green room there somewhere. I've never been to it, but I've heard about it. Such a Are you still streaming away the whole time, Nick? The only time I ever really caught one of your streams was I was sick in bed. The board here. Simone, we can't all be hot girls who get drinks bought for them at bars. Like, that's quite true, Simone. Oh well, what are we going to do? Us girls got to stick together. Tell you what, we just buy ourselves drinks at the bars, huh? Be like Sex in the City. Let's talk about willies and shoes. David, where were there any new artists or projects you saw at C2E2 that you were looking forward to? I didn't see much in the way of projects, David. Like a lot of the stuff that gets announced, because I don't think you've done any big American shows. The problem is you've no idea what's announced at them because you're at it. You get way more information being at home on the interwebs. I knew about the Hickman stuff. I knew Hickman was taking over X-Men, so I was more waiting for people to hear about that, so I could bloody talk to people about it because I think it's really cool. One second, just got to sneeze. Excuse me. To hear about anything on C2E2. Artist-wise, I more missed them. I did. One thing about taking the breakfast was that I'd walk around a bit before I started my table, and I try to make a point of talking to artists that I don't get a chance to talk to much. So I swung by Daniel Warren Johnson's table and Jason Howard's table, where we compared Warren Ellis war stories. He was very, very nice, as was Daniel Warren Johnson. But yeah, there was still plenty I didn't get a chance to. It's a big show and a lot of really great artists at it. That show's just been getting better and better for years, I think. I think if I can, I'll go back again. Maybe take a break for a year and go back after a year. Because it's, as regards a flight from Ireland, it's not too bad. Make MCV blocks uphill. Yeah. You can go downhill, but then you got to go back uphill. So either way, you're boned. Yeah, Nick, they announced that he's doing 2 minis. I think it's like House of X and Power of X. But yeah, it sounds class. I'm just streaming. I'm trying to do it more. We're trying to make the time of regular work is hard. Yeah, exactly. That's been my problem with these streams. And it's weird to think that just like 2 hours on a Monday is really, affecting my workload. But it's once I finish this stream, I actually find I'm pretty wrecked, so I don't just get straight back to work. I'll need to take a break. Because I could leisurely draw a page over a good few hours, but a commission is kind of like I squeeze, really do it in 2 hours, bam, or an hour and a half. And the talking wears me out, but I need to do the talking, or as I've established, I get a little sleepy. But I'm still trying to answer your question. Sorry, about C2E2. Is there anything else? That Marvel History of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid and Javi Rodriguez looks amazing. I hadn't heard about that. Weird thing is, like, knowing some people in Marvel, I hear some things and I don't hear others. But that sounds really cool. I do have to say I'm not actually the biggest Hickman fan. I like some stuff and don't like other stuff, but I admire his the kind of author. How do I say it? How much control he has over his work. Like, he's not doing what Marvel want on those books. He's clearly doing what he wants, and I'm excited to see somebody have that level of control and what they might do with it. And I think X-Men has needed a big kick up the hole. I've been saying it for a while to friends and stuff. I mean, I would have liked to have been one of the people who kick it up the hole, but if you're going to do it, Hickman was not a bad choice. Cassie, I immediately regret watching this at work. Oh, why? Did I swear? Did I say something racist? I said something racist, didn't I? God damn it. See, Ali Bessie. Thank you very much, Ali. I'm looking forward to how we're getting back to volume 3 of Trees of War. Yeah, me too, although I have to say I really liked Cemetery Beach. Loved the cover designs. I was looking at those a lot recently, but yeah, I think I believe it's one more volume of oh, sorry, that page is off to the right of it. I'm very much looking forward to him getting back to trees. I think at the end there's one more volume. He was saying, but yeah, he was very, very nice. Nick, it isn't 2 hours though. That's what people don't realize. You were talking and you were setting up the stream, and you got to change focus after. Yeah, that's well said, Nick. You horrible bastards who watch the stream. You have no idea how hard it is. No, it is like, yeah, it takes prep work. I mean, like sometimes these streams start a bit later because I can't quite get the camera at the angle I want. So I'm there like 10 minutes after 6, fucking struggling with a piece of wire. It's not as glamorous as you think it is, people. But yeah, it's 2 hours of stream, but it's like the build up and then, yeah, the climb down afterwards. But I mean, but saying that, I do enjoy them, and even like, say, it looks like I'm not going to have a book out till like the end of the year. I talked to Marvel about the thing I'm working on, and I don't think it's going to be announced for a while, so it won't be out for a while. So the thing about the streams is at least I have something out online, something visible once a week. But for the moment, I just need to kind of make a bit more headway on the book I'm on. And I'm going to be doing a show in Florida during the summer, and New York, so I'll definitely be doing streaming again. It's just, I think maybe it might be wise to just knock the head on it for just a couple of months and then get back to it. Plus, maybe build some anticipation, because I don't know. It was important to me to be really regular with these, because I think that's what the glue that holds the internet together. Maybe that's pornography. Can't remember which. But I just have some writing I want to do, and I don't want to fall behind on art. So these were a bit of a luxury. So I figure if I just stop for a little while, take a break, and then just get back to it. I haven't drawn this many commissions. Like, I've done how many? Must have done like 50 since I started streaming. Maybe 20. Which is a lot for me. I rarely do that many commissions in a year. I normally do like 7. You're talking to me. Tathanor, hey, how's it going? How is Scotland? You were in Scotland, Tathanor, aren't you? It was great. I was in Dunfermline last. Well, I got back yesterday, and it was deadly. It was really nice. Really charming. So many like young girls like reading comics, which is so like, it's just so nice to see. And they all have the shop there. It's a little shop of comics, they seem to have really invested in a kind of a broad reader like pool of material. Basically, it's not all Batman. The the young lady who runs it, she was telling me that like Lumberjanes is their biggest selling book every time, and which is interesting. I mean, I've never read that book, but I know it does well with some people, and it's not often you hear a comic shop that can say that. So it's pretty cool. And there was a lot of yes, like I said, a lot of girls, a lot of kids. It was very family attended show, which is again really nice to see. And it's nice to see a show that concentrates on comics more than like media and stuff. And they also really looked after us too. And I had a good few friends there, so that was fun. Um, my books didn't arrive, unfortunately, so I was telling people about my comics and I wasn't able to sell them. But I still had a great time, so I would go back in a heartbeat. I kind of wish maybe I'd hung around for a day in Edinburgh or something, because I haven't been there in a long time. Because Dunfermline is just outside of Edinburgh. Um, but I was getting the plane back with Trina Farrell, who's a colourist, and Rebecca Novelty, who's another colourist from Ireland, and we were all talking about how it's nice to come back from a show feeling energized rather than exhausted. It was really nice. Simone, yeah, I'm always saying something problematic. David, I like the Aaron and Bendis X-Men stuff, but I haven't connected it with it since they wrapped. I've been reading it lately because I really like Rosenberg and Brisen and Kelly Thompson. And I think they've been doing good stuff. It's just it always feels like a soft reboot, like just a renaming of a book and stuff, which is fine. But I personally have been kind of looking for something a bit ballsier in approach with like some good like. I think sometimes there's some very safe artists on those books, and what you need is somebody like Chris Bachalo. I think with the X-Men, you need a cool artist. And I know Pepe Larraz is drawing one of the books, and he's very cool. And plus, I think Tom Miller's doing design on it. It just feels like it's got a stronger hand, you know. But I did like the Bendis stuff. I have to say, I liked the kind of felt a bit unified between the two books. But the double shipping killed me at the same time. It's really hard to keep track. I'm finding that it's actually harder to keep track of double shipping books because I lose track of when they're coming out. Nick, streaming is basically like shoveling coal. We are total total guys. Yeah. Well, I used to deliver coal, Nick, as I've probably said a million times online. So I'm kind of like you're the shoveling the coal and I'm delivering it. If that analogy makes any sense, it probably doesn't. Regularity and porn is what holds the internet together. Society together. That's fair. That's fair. Hi, Minsk. Greeting John Shiro, Tales. You've got some very eloquent hellos. Fair play to you. Yeah, various travels have treated me well. Not my workload, because that's just piling up, but me in general, good. Yeah, Aberdeen do a con, but it's mostly the TV sci-fi circuit. It's the problem with that stuff, man. Is like that's generally how shows do well. If you open the door to the TV stuff, it's more likely to get like bums in seats because everybody knows what TVs and actors and stuff. The more comic concentrated shows, the harder it is to get people in the door. But in fairness to Dunfermline, I think because the store itself has fostered that environment, it's worked in their favour, you know. That was my feeling, at least, anyway. I don't think you can just plant a well, not to say anything against Aberdeen. They sell what they sell, but it goes. I think it speaks well for the shop in Dunfermline that they created the readership that they support, which can't be easy, but is all the more impressive. uh, they actually did cancel last year Tathanor because of the snow, and they lost a lot of money because the show had to be scuppered, which is the reason why I went this year, because I support. I'm all in favor of comic centric shows, and they're becoming less and less. So I want to support them putting their show together, and it seemed to go quite well for them too, which was a relief. I think they were definitely worried about that. So I highly recommend you going down next time. I saw a few people from Aberdeen. They are actually people I knew from back in my Aberdeen days. Nick, yeah, double shipping is madness. I will never ever do a double shipping book again. Wadley, Daniel Jones is streaming live on Instagram. I get told all the comic drama. Oh, he streams on Instagram, does he? I actually started streaming on Instagram, but the problem was I couldn't see what anybody was saying, and I clearly like to talk, so that's what made me think somebody suggested Twitch, so I gave it a shot. I was doing it on my phone, so I couldn't see what people were saying, so I felt kind of rude. Oh, Simone, okay. Catch you later, Simone. Lovely to talk to you again. Take care. Or I need to make the effort. I didn't realize it was so comic centric. Few Scottish shows are. Yeah, it had it had Ryan North who writes Squirrel Girl. It had John Allison from Giant Days. It had myself. It had colorists, letterers. Yeah, very comic centric. Writers Ram V, Casper Wingard, Alex Packnadell, Mike Collins, who else? Brendan Fletcher, Alison Sampson. It was really a really good list of people, I have to say. Only downside is I didn't get to talk to as many as I would have liked to. But it's cool to keep everyone together, so we all kind of got to pretty much meet each other and say hi or have breakfast. And very relaxed show. Wildly. Oh, fair enough. I guess you can. The Tick MS. Glad you're here. I'm glad you were here, Tick MS. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just making these buildings up now off the top of my head. Now I generally tend to look at some reference, but I think I can shorthand some together. I had a photo reference of a guy jumping as well in a suit that I kind of based this off of, just in case it looked like I magically threw it together. Some kind of genius. David, any update on Project Cash Home? Well, thanks for asking, David. Yes, the artist, I believe, is about to start drawing it. I am on chapter 2, writing wise now. So it's 80 pages total, so it's kind of like 4 issues, basically. But once I finish this, will have to finish inking a cover. I'm doing the Carnage cover pretty quickly, so I haven't finished it. I need to finish this sword. Well, once that's finished, I'm getting back to. I was going to spend the rest of the night writing and making some headway there. But yeah, I just basically need. I'm eagerly waiting pages, effectively. Quite eagerly waiting pages, but I'm talking about it in the newsletter that's going out tomorrow. I'm going to have to push it back to next year when it comes out because with the book market, you need to have a lot of stuff up ahead of time. I think with Savage Town, what happened was we got it to the print date, but we only had a little bit of stuff to show, like the first 20 pages. And I think the book market likes to see pretty much the whole thing, which we didn't have ready. So this time, I'm going to try have more stuff done ahead of time for promotion and stuff like that. So it was going to be ready for the end of this, for later this year, and still will be ready for later this year. But I think what I'll do is have it done and then start using the material to get more quotes, to get more, just for purposes of promotion, basically. I got some accruals back on Savage Town, and like a lot of bookstores are returning it, which sucks. Because they haven't been selling in bookstores, but I don't know how to sell in bookstores because that's just I'm used to comic stores, you know. So it's another reason why I'm gonna put it out like early next year. There's stuff like Irish Book Awards and things like I wish I had put it up for, or even the bloody Eisner Awards. Not that we would have won or anything, but I was so busy trying to like promote it in like all around Ireland and Limerick and stuff. I kind of lost sight of the kind of bigger stuff that would help sell it in general places, which is my bad. So if I have more of it done ahead of time, that it'll be easier to push because I won't be trying to finish the book and promote the book at the same time. But yeah, that's all I can say for now, I think. And yeah, I better have it good and ready then early. Well, I just can't wait to show people. I've the cover done, I've the title design done. But then again, it's better to be, as my granddad used to say, better to be looking at it than looking for it. Okay. Getting on these bookstores can be weird. Tell them the guys on Twitch love the idea. Sure. Yeah, it's bookstores are a whole other market, and it's great that comics do like sell in bookstores. But I mean, how is a bookstore going to know to order a weird Irish crime book? You know. I think maybe I said this on here before, but when the book was announced, I got a lot of press here in Ireland. But then when the book was finished, everyone was like, "Oh well, we've already talked about that," which is really frustrating because it's much better to talk about a book when it actually exists, not months before. So yeah, that was frustrating. But it's all part of it. It was definitely a learning experience. But yeah, I just want the book to sell, and I want people to read it. And bookstores also tend not to get comics unless they hear of them on the TV or news or something. To be fair, Minsk, it's actually that's not necessarily the case. Bookstores actually did order a lot of Savage Town. It's just that when it didn't sell after a while, they returned it. Bookstores can return graphic novels, but comic shops can't. So they order more conservatively. Bookstores order more liberally, but at least comic stores will do their best to sell the stock that they have, and bookstores will just return it willy-nilly. David, looking forward to it. Thanks, man. Let's see. Minsk, I'll talk for a greeting for next week. I won't be streaming next week, Minsk. I think you missed the very beginning. This is my last one for a while. I'm going to take a break for a couple of months, probably. Definitely 6 weeks at least, anyway. I'm supposed to be more bookstores here, but we're not big into comics either. Well, yeah, it depends. It's definitely like if people order it at bookstores will order it in, but it's a whole thing of trying. How do you let people know? It's a whole thing. Nick, it seems like bookstores order large and then do a lot of returns too. Yeah, that's the thing, Nick. I'll say it here, the book is in the red now because of I've sold more. I did a tour last year. I've sold more books in direct market, which is great. But the downside is I didn't know how to promote a bookstore, so bookstores are returned more. So we've lost money, if that makes sense. But again, yeah, it's just a learning curve. I've never had to do this before because Injection kind of sells itself because Warren, everybody knows who Warren is. It's a different thing. Like it would be different if I drew Savage Town. It would be a different animal, but I want Phil to draw it. Yeah, sorry, Minsk. But you have some. How about this? Look at it this way. You'll have time to practice your new ones to really, really get good. Okay, let's start inking. Thanks for the chat, everyone. Everyone's been really shiny today, which is nice. Let me see. Where's my ink? There it is. No, it's fine. The book with the book we've broken even, if anything. We're down money because we got paid. So kind of like after the book is out for a while and the orders come in, you get paid. But now as it works out, I'd say we have broken even in the scheme of things. So, but because we got paid, we're down. So what I'd like to do is sell more copies and cover it. I certainly don't like the idea of a book being in the red, but it seems to be a much more common thing than I realised. So I think I missed something here. Nick, I've been wondering if we should ever even do pre-press stuff anymore. Is that a relic of the era of Wizard Magazine for comic news? That's a fair question. I think it's a good question. I think the pre-stuff works with comics. Problem was, stuff like, so when we announced Savage Town at Emerald City a few years ago, somebody in Irish news media heard about it here, picked it up. I was on the radio talking about it because crime and Limerick is it's kind of a, how would I say it? It's something of a cliche, or it's kind of something that the media jump on stuff like that over here. So they jumped on that, which was cool because I'm trying to sell the book and all that. But then it's just the way Irish media works here. I think is if you've been on recently, then there needs to be a bit of a gap between when you're on again. And I thought the gap of a few months would do it, but it didn't. But it's very specifically like I'm talking about TV and radio. I got a good few people handed me a copy of Savage Town at C2E2, and I signed it. And I tend to ask how they heard about it, and they all said like Twitter. Oh, sorry, They all said Twitter or podcasts that I went on. So I mean, all that stuff does make an impact. I would say the thing is, once something's out a while, it get like I don't know. It's hard. I just talked and talked and talked and talked about it when it came out, and then I was like, well, I've talked about it a lot. Maybe I should shut up because I wouldn't be annoying people. But also, it's been empowering to make these decisions. I did a website for the book, and I don't really see anybody else doing that. I just wish I had a better idea of what actually helped, or didn't. Did I do something wrong? Is there something I could have done better? The more I do this, the more I learn, and the better I'll be able to sell the work that I do in future. I think, because if I want to do this for the rest of my life, which I do, I want to make sure that getting the word out as efficiently as possible. Let's see. Nick, you should have a pen name worn at us whenever you write. You know what? That is not a bad idea. I'm going to look into that. I don't think there'll be any problems there. Sorry, let's pick another. Headland, Declan, what do you think is the best policy for when you commission an artist and they take way longer than what was agreed? Honestly, wait it out, because I've been guilty of it myself. I'd say there's probably a couple of people I never did commissions for that I said I would, and it's not out of any badness. It's just busy. But I think how long have you been waiting, Edmund? I think in general, if you're getting pissed off, then if it was me, I wouldn't want you to be getting pissed off. And if you've paid for it, there's a stage where you want to ask for your money back. If you haven't paid for it, there's a stage where you want to say, this is taking too long. As long as nobody gets sour about it and you give a heads up. Like if you just emailed and said, hey, I don't want this anymore because it took too long, I'd be annoyed because that would have come out of nowhere for me. But a couple of heads up, and then let's see. Nick, a buddy of mine just got a beautiful commission in the mail from someone after giving them money 8 years ago. Well, I'll say this. I'd say your buddy got a good return on investment, because what happened to me was I took a commission from a guy who was a volunteer at a show, because he was very nice to me and I was very thankful. So I told him, hey, if you need a commission, if you ever want a sketch or something, let me know and I'll do my best to sort you out. And then he got back to me and he picked a character. I'm like, cool, no problem. And then the next, he was very patient. I have to hand it to him, very, very patient. And then the next year, I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you when I get home." Got home, of course, I got busy, so I didn't get a chance. This happened about 5 times, so it took 5 years. This went on for 5 years, and he was very, very cool about it, I have to say. I felt bad, but look, I was busy at the same time. I basically I shouldn't have told him I could do it because I didn't have the time, but I also didn't want to say no to him because he'd been so nice. But then he called me transphobic on the internet there a few months ago, and gave me shit online out of nowhere. So I was happy to give him his money back and be nice to him about it, even though I would have liked to tell him where to stick it. But my thinking is, if he had waited, he paid very little money because it was so long ago. I think it was on Thunderbolts when he asked. Had he waited a little bit longer, because I was fully intending to do it, he would have gotten a commission for like I probably 3 times as expensive as I was back then. So yeah, one thing for your friend there, Nick, is that he probably got a better commission because an artist would be way better than when they commissioned it 8 years ago. Although, to be fair, 8 years is very, very excessive. Very excessive. I know there was a guy who asked me to do a Captain America commission years ago, and I said yes, but he didn't pay or anything. So I at the time I would never take money until it was finished, which is generally the better way to go about it, because then you can always say no afterwards. And also, I should clarify, I took commissions for New York Comic Con 2 years ago, and I didn't do them all, but I told my art dealer to refund them because some personal stuff happened and I just didn't want to draw. I couldn't draw for a while. A couple of people got really narky with me online, but that was not. It wasn't my fault. I told my art dealer to refund them, and I think there was some miscommunication there. But there's not much to be done about that. Otherwise, I've met good in commissions, but I really don't want to take don't want to take many commissions in general. These are fun, but like you don't make royalties on commissions, you know. You just make a quick return on money, which is a nice thing to be able to do. Especially for artists when they don't like have regular income coming in. I'm lucky, I'm fine in that regard. But there are some artists who like they might just like a gig might fall through, then all of a sudden they've no money coming in, and if they can take some commissions in a month, it's a pretty amazing resource to be able to fall back on. Nick, yeah, yeah, that guy could go fuck himself. I wouldn't mind, but I saw him in a show then afterwards, and I like looked directly at him to see if he'd look at me, and he turned his nose up in the air. He was so brave. But and that really rubbed me the wrong way because I talked to that guy every year. I asked him about his family, about his college. I'd always be nice to him, even though I knew I felt bad because he did not have that commission. But I would make it up to him by being extremely nice. As far as that got me. We got mad. You're a person, not a fucking Starbucks. Well, I mean, to be fair to them, Nick, I took the commission. I took the money. I should make good on it. It's just my personal circumstance changed, which I think you know about, and I just couldn't draw for a while. And the last thing I wanted to do was draw some fucking Moon Knight when I wasn't in the place to draw. But I was happy to give the money back. But I actually don't know what happened there. I didn't get into it my art dealer, but a couple of people got onto me angry that they wanting their money back, which they should have had their money back already. So that is, I think somebody messed up there. But I mean, I've taken these commissions and I've done them like, been doing them like a workhorse. I heard a story one time about somebody, a very, very talented cover artist, and she won't get specific, but took a commission, did the drawing, guy came, took the commission off him, and then emailed them afterwards saying they weren't happy with the standard of the commission. And as I said to the person, I'm like, we're not fucking drawing robots, the reason I definitely prefer doing commissions here at home is it's the best environment for me to do a good piece. at a show with, you know, bad lighting, people around you all the time, people talking to you. It's not a good environment to do a drawing, and every drawing is an experiment. It isn't always going to work, and if you want one, that's the risk. It may not come out the way you want it to, but we're not machines that just eject stuff. Any person who's good at drawing has done a lot of bad drawings in their life. And I think it's a downside of commissions that people. Well, I can't complain. I haven't had that experience, but I think some people expect it to be a thing, and sometimes it's not going to be that thing, and that's just the nature of drawing. Do. Declan fucking Starbucks Shalvey. That's me. Thank you for that, Cassie. Wadley. As much as I love collecting art, I always remind myself owning art is a privilege. Artists don't owe me anything. They don't need to draw from me or sell originals. It's disappointing if money was refunded, but a better and an uninspired commission the artist didn't want to draw. That's a good point, David. I don't want to put bad stuff out there. Like sometimes people post rough sketches I did online. I'm like, oh, I wish they didn't do that because it sucks. But you know, it's gonna happen. But yeah, it's you know, to get all high and mighty about it. Like, but yeah, you don't owe anybody anything. All you can do is your best. But there are, I mean, look, there are people who take people for a walk at the same time. Like, so men's question is pretty valid. Sure, I don't know about you, Dave. You get a lot of stuff. I mean, have you been stiffed before? But to your original question, Minsk, you know, it depends how long you've been waiting. But you know, be patient, and if it gets to a point where uh, you're no longer interested, you should tell a person that that you prefer maybe have your take it, you know, have a refund because it's longer than what was agreed, and they'll can get back to you and say, hey, actually, you know, it's okay. I'll be able to do it soon. Maybe that'll give them the kick up the arse they need. But as long as you're honestly, as long as you speak respectfully, you'll be fine. You'll either get the commission or not, but at least you can, you know, not have any awkward interactions. In many things, if you just talk to people with respect, you'll be fine. Except me, I get no respect. Minsk, does noise interfere with drawing icons? I mean, well, yeah, like if there's banging going on or loud talking, it can. It's like having a woodpecker at the back of your head. You know, it just it's harder to concentrate. Um, Plus, I mean, a lot of people are not looking to talk to you because also maybe somebody wants something get something signed, and you put down the drawing, and then you're signing, and then you're getting back to it, and you're trying to. You need to get into a headspace for drawing. Similar to why these doing these commissions can be tough because I have to put myself into a headspace. Nick, Jeremy Hahn was sitting next to me at ECCC and he was trying to ink, and the convention floor was literally shaking while he was trying to do some tight fine lines. Oh, Nick stuff. Sorry, Jeremy stuff is very refined. I do not. I get away with it sometimes because I do quite loose drawings at shows, but I don't know how the hell he managed that. And if anybody doesn't know who Nick's talking about, Jeremy Hahn is a really good writer artist who does the beauty and the realm. Whoop, the camera there. The camera because it's too busy thinking. But yeah, I recommend you checking out those books. And Nick, you color the realm, right? You don't color beauty. That's Nayoung, I think. Also, you should check out Nick's stream. Nick is like a prolific Twitcher. That doesn't sound good, though, doesn't it? Wadley, knock on wood, I've never had to wait longer than a year on a commission. I don't collect many sketches commissions as much anymore. I mostly collect original published pages now. Personally, I prefer people buying pages because then it's not. I don't have to do more work. It's work I've already done. I was hoping not to doing commissions at C2E2 would mean that people might actually buy pages, and they did actually. I'm not sure if that'll work again, but I'd much prefer sell something I've already done than having to do something new. Nick, got a bounce commission, good looking, good man. Thank you, thanks Nick, thanks for tuning in. Nice to hear from you, man. Yeah, you keep killing it because you do kill it. Wadley, I feel like pages are the best representation of the artist's actual work and craft. I'd agree, actually, Wadley, because it's the thing they actually slave over all day long. I work harder on any page than I do a commission, because it's actual storytelling, you know. These kind of things are. These things are. They're show-offy, but they're not storytelling. Except for Daniel Warren Johnson, he tells the shit out of a story in his commissions. But yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not working that hard on commissions. I want to work hard on pages. Sorry, just check on my email for a second. No, nobody talking to me. Good. I think I'll need to switch back to Declan, is there a writer? Wait, where are my field pages? Do you have a short list of dream partners? Alison Brie, Gillian Anderson. Oh, writers. Is there a writer you drop everything to go and collaborate with, Deck? No. There's definitely writers I'd really, 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 really like to work with. David got to jump off. Commission looks great. Catch you again soon. Thanks, Dave. Cheers, man. Yeah, take it easy, man. Hope all is well with you. What was I saying? Oh yeah, writers wise. Cassie. Wow. Come on, Cassie. That was. Yeah, I know. I'm transparent. Let's see, what was I talking about? Yeah, I got my joke in. I don't care. I don't feel bad about it. But yeah, writers. There's Ed Brubaker. I'd love to do something with. Gareth Ennis. I would kill to do something with. I'd love to do something else with Warren at some stage. I have something I'd like to ask him if he'd like to do, but I mean that's a ways off. I'd have to finish Injection first. I'd love to do something with Jason Aaron. I love his stuff. I'm trying to think I would really like to work with those guys, but I'm feeling Jeff Lemire. I like Jeff Lemire's stuff a lot too. Remender. I like Remender a lot. But I'm kind of leaning towards just writing my own stuff. I'd love to do a war book with Ennis, love to. I kind of teased him once about maybe doing an image book, but we didn't really know me at the time, so I don't think he paid much attention to me. But so I wouldn't jump everything to work with them, but I would really say injection. I wouldn't leave injection to work with one of those guys. But I would do what I can to try and arrange it after injection. You know what I mean? But I want to meet my commitments. It's kind of important to me. I would say at least those people know I exist, so it's not a crazy pipe dream, but who knows? Ah, Jesus Christ! My fucking face in this frame again. Oh right, yeah. When is Shalvey book going to happen? I'd love that to happen, big time. Same, but this is not a place of decorum, Cassie. You should know that. You've seen these enough times. There's no decorum here. Complete shamelessness. Hey Tooth, how's it going, man? How about I write a more on draws instead? Hey, I am game. I am very game. Now, Warren mentioned something on his newsletter, I think maybe like 3 years ago. He had an idea for something, and I was like, oh man, I would totally do that. But I've never mentioned it to him because I don't want to get ahead of myself. I still have 200 pages of injection to draw. Problem is fucking time, guys. There's loads of things I'd love to do, but there's only so much time in the day, and I very little as it is. Ah, Jesus, my nose. Nobody needs to get that good a look at my nose. I get too into the drawing where I zoom up close to it. I apologize. Let me move this over here. Maybe that'll help. Jasmine Fury Max is my favorite Marvel book. Parallel Venice is such a perfect combination. Totally get the draw. How much longer do you expect injection to keep you busy? I get back on injection this summer, so I'm going to say probably just over a year. Best guess. If it's 10 issues, and I do take my time with the book to make it as good as I possibly can. So yeah. So this Marvel thing I'm working on will be likely be the last Marvel thing for at least a year. If I can just do the next 2 volumes together, that's what I'll do. Unless, of course, something else pops up in my view that I can't say no to, but I really want to get closer to the end of injection because it's been a while. I should really have the book finished by now. If I think about it, but life got in the way. 2000 I traveled stateside. Great, I had a great time. Chicago was tremendous fun. I was telling everybody earlier there. I both enjoyed it and got to talk to people who buy my stuff and got to meet friends and got to have fun afterwards, so it was great. And not too crazy, I have to say. I mean, I was up until the end of the night each night, but you know, still up the next day relatively early. Cassie, I'm going to head home in a bit, but I'll bother you later. Like, thanks for the chat. No worries. Thanks for popping in chat. Cassie. Rick, you cheers for all that. Thanks. Cheers on the stream. Oh, here you wait. Cheers. Thanks, Rick. Bryce, I don't know. People with such weird names. Dude, how long? So how has April 1st been on the Emerald Day? Fine. I haven't fallen for anybody's pranks yet. Unless this counts as an elaborate prank where you pay attention to me. But bye, Cassie. I'd be good to have a beer with you. I'm relatively charming. Yeah, just working away in this commission for April Fool's Day, which I guess makes me the fool. Should I do a line on this or just make a wash? I think I'll do a line. Tooth, so did you get a big box for DC 100 with the glass and champagne? I saw other DC artist posts. I did not. No one gave me nothing. I guess you've got to be a big deal with DC in order to do that, but I mean, I very rarely work with DC. I got the blue blanket when they were doing that. That was a thing. To think of any good covers for the issue. I haven't been to the comic shop in a while, to be honest. Just with all the traveling. I'm also not much of a covers guy. I don't really pick up variants that much. I'm more likely to pick up the issue and just pick up whichever cover stands out to me more. But I didn't order any particular variants or have an interest in any particular variants. I don't even think I've seen that many, to be honest. Again, with traveling, it's hard to keep track. I'm super jealous Becky Cloonan got to do story with Warren. Super, super, super jealous. I keep leaning into the camera. Sorry, guys. To see my stupid face. Wadley. I nabbed one of those Cluna pages. Oh, nice one, David. Nice one. I'd say they weren't cheap. Not that you need to, David. But I'll give you a heads up. I'm doing a show in the UK, and later in the year, and they've asked if we could do a piece for charity, like an A3 piece. So I think what I'm going to do is do a Moon Knight piece, which would be cover sized. And since I haven't sold any of the covers, I don't have any flashy cover images for sale. That might be a nice opportunity for you to try and nab one if you're interested. Again, it's for charity. It's not. I'm not giving it away or anything. It'll be the convention. But considering your taste and interest, I thought I should let you know. It wouldn't be for months, but that's my thinking anyway. I thought a piece, a Moon Knight, a big proper Moon Knight piece would be more likely to raise money for charity because I don't really have any out there. Not cheap, yeah, but it was for Detective 1000, so I got it. Well, even that Becky prices. She's like, none of her stuff goes cheap at all. That lady knows her worth. And she doesn't do a lot of them, no. More covers. I think she's doing a lot more kind of art projects than comics right now. Oops. Hey Harry, how's it going? All is well here. Everyone's being well behaved. Except me, probably. Yeah, we were just talking about we're talking about that Harry. Yeah, I mean, look, Becky's done lots of comics in her time, so I mean, if she just wants to, like, guys, drawing comics is hard. It's kind of easier drawing things like covers and stuff. It's not as work intensive. So if that's what she wants to do, grand, fair enough. Frees her up to do things like Detective 1000. So I sympathise with wanting to see more of her stuff, though. She is great. Oh, Colin Doran, yeah, fair enough. it's the right to do what she wants, but it's a loss for the industry to have the best artists doing covers only. I guess you could feel like that, man. I mean, there's still plenty of stuff hers you can get. She's got her indie. That graphic novel she did. She's planning to do a graphic novel of her short stories. She puts stuff out, but I mean, I think maybe just in the last year she's concentrated on covers. But the thing is, for all you know, she is working on comics. It's just nothing out. And, you know, it's grueling work. Some people get burnt out. Not that she is burnt out, but there are more lucrative offers for people, you know, when they get bigger. And I can't blame them for taking them if they come their way. But I take your point. It is a loss for the industry if when people go out, like you know, Guy Davis going off into film work and other people moving into animation. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks to lose amazing creators. But I don't think Becky's gone. I think she's just doing her own thing for a little while. That's my phone. Why is my phone going off? Oh, too, saying you'd want pages from that story, is it? Cool. I will not read it now if that's okay, and I'll give it a read later. David, on a related note, we've been without a comic on a Somni comic on the shelves for a year now. Well, don't worry about that, David. Take it from me. He's definitely going to have a comic out. I don't know when. I have no idea when, but I do know he's working on something. Yeah, keep in mind, like in order to do a comic that'll come out regularly, you got to work really far ahead. So I would suspect he's working on something that will come out like clockwork once it's out. I do sympathise though. I love me some Somni. Sure, look, think about it. It's going to be a while till I'll have comic out again. Wolverine is out, and the thing I'm working on hasn't even been announced. Hasn't even been announced. Sounds like I'm annoyed about it. I'm not. But yeah, I whatever books all the solicitations are go as far as I do not have anything on the stands other than covers. But I am working on stuff. Just yeah, nothing announced. The Tick Doran is great too. Can't wait for Snow Glass Apples. I haven't heard of that actually. Is it the thing she's doing with Warren? I know she's doing something with Warren, I think. Completely unrelated, but have you watched The Expanse? Finished season 3 today. Best sci-fi on TV. Yes, I have actually, Harry. I've watched the first 2 seasons because they were on Netflix here in Ireland, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Big epic, like epic level sci-fi, really great stuff. But I think I'm not sure how I'm going to see season 3 because I believe Amazon have the show, so it's not going to be available on Netflix. Although I should really just invest in Amazon. They have a lot of good shows. But yeah, it's a great show. Anybody who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. Dick. It's a Neil Gaiman story. They're adapted to a graphic novel. Oh, really? Cool. Nice. She's what hasn't been adapted by him. Good for her, though. That's great. I think that's all the line work done. I'm gonna go in with some washes now. Airy season 3 is on Amazon Prime. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to take the plunge and get Amazon. Oh, season 4 is out later this year, right? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm acquainted with one of the authors, and I know the people who played in the RPG campaign that produced the crew of the Rustani. Oh, cool. Okay, we're getting deep dive into nerd here. Okay, where's me inks? Time is it? Okay. Let's have 7. Oh, sorry, I need to put some water on my yolk here. Play something a bit more upbeat if that's okay. See, upbeat. Why do I have no upbeat music? Okay. It's stuff. Harry, so what are you currently reading, by the way? Oh, I can't answer that, Harry. I've been on the road for a couple of weeks, and then when I got home, I had to jump on a cover and get it done. So I'm not reading anything right now. Um, I brought stuff with me to read, but then didn't get a chance. I have Multiple Men by Matt Rosenberg and Andy MacDonald, and there's like a trade by Rosenberg that he did where Banshee comes back. I wanted to read that, but I just actually haven't had the time at the time. I've got some new Stray Bullets, but I haven't read it yet. I bought Gorillas. If anyone's heard of that, it's an Oni book with gorillas in it, but they're soldiers. And I read some of it a long time ago, and I really liked it, but I didn't follow up on it. But I know that's in the comic shop for me. I'm gonna pop in there on Wednesday and pick it up. So frustratingly, I'm only telling you the stuff I'm planning to read, not the stuff that I have read. And then reading the map. Reading the map then? Sorry, you've lost me, man. Right. Okay, I get the cloud reference. I do not know what you're talking about other than that, though. Temptation to get in the sun. Temptation to you. You are on a road, hence you were reading the map. Ah, right, okay. Sorry. It'd been too long since I said that, I didn't quite tweak. Okay, I'm just gonna... I can't whistle. Why am I trying to whistle? Jump in the top. Jump. Let it go. Oh, come here, you bastard. Ah, bollocks. Sorry, hit that with my head. Yeah, the camera's fine, and I'm just about fine. Thanks, Spence. I just tapped off it. I made it sound way more dramatic than it was. Ah, my face! No, it's fine. I'm just a dope. So this weekend, I got some new tools for my pressure washer to clean off my patio and front of the walkways, and now it's gone cold again. All right, yeah, it's weather's actually fairly nice here. I have to say, a little bright. It's nice. Nice change. Harry, you said that you have Netflix. The anime One Punch Man is generally what to watch. It's very superhero-y and actually very funny. I've heard good stuff about that. All right. Um, is it Netflix UK you have? Yeah, you're from the UK, right, Harry? Sometimes it's different as to what's on American Netflix and Netflix on this side of the Atlantic. But yeah, I have heard good things. I'm not the most literate in anime, but I'm not against it. Okay, yeah, you are. Cool. This now. Netflix in the US has been adding a lot of anime series in the last year or two. That's cool. Yeah, I hear good stuff. I know your Cowboy Bebop is good, and Avatar and stuff like that. But yeah, I just I've never seen them. Anime seems to be Netflix's big thing. They're remastering Evangelion and doing a load of other things than their own. Yeah, well, I mean, technically, I'd say the only real anime I've watched is of late is Castlevania because Worm's on it, and I have liked that. I don't know if that's. I know it's not technically anime. Whatever. I think it's cool. Fuck you. Yeah, you guys know what you're talking about your anime. I do not know. But I trust you. Trust that you know what you're talking about. Just need to spot the black and then we'll be done so. See if I can get this done in the next 10 minutes, because then that'll be 2 hours. I really don't want to go over 2 hours. Getting there. Just for anyone who wasn't here earlier on, and this is my last commission that I'm streaming for a while. I'm going to take a break for 6 to 8 weeks. I'll probably take commissions for a future show in that time then, within that time. But I need to concentrate on the book that I'm working on for the next few weeks. So hope you can understand. Thanks, Mensk. But yeah, this I've been enjoying these for the last like 3 months. But I have noticed that I'm kind of a little behind on where I should be work-wise. So I'd like to catch up, take a break from this because it's no harm to take a break and then come back to it. Like let me see, what's it now? April, June, probably June. Huh? I think it's probably just actually realistically, I'm probably just going to take a break for a month because I think I'll be going to some place in June and we'll need to have a couple of commissions. So maybe the break may not even be as long as I thought it would be. Let's say a month then, 4 weeks. See where I am then. Okay. Okay. That is it. Do now, but sign it, and then I'm done. Where's my pen? Okay, guys, that's me done. Thanks a million for tuning in, keeping me company, chatting away. Appreciate it. And I guess keep an eye on Twitter or my newsletter and for updates. But yeah, I'll definitely be back to this and say 4 to 6 weeks. It's probably my best bet. But I hope you guys look after yourselves. Take care. And sure, yeah, I'll see you on the interwebs in between. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll just show you the whole thing there. Sorry, it's a bit out of focus. There you go. Oh, thanks, guys. Cheers. Appreciate the support. Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, take care. And I'll talk to you. I won't talk to you as soon as usual, but I will talk to you soon. Take care. See you later. I love you. Bye.